So face masks. This has to be used in conjunction with social distancing and vice versa. Neither of these are 100% effective on their own. So that's why it's important to use both. One thing that I've noticed since I do a lot of outreach to businesses where we go around and give them packets in person, and I've noticed that a lot of times people are kind of fatigued. They're not really wearing their masks as much anymore. And that's really bad. We want people to be still taking this just as seriously as at the start of the pandemic. One thing is, even if you're wearing your mask, it needs to be worn properly to be effective. And that means covering your nose and mouth. Wearing it under your nose might be more comfortable, but it's ultimately less effective. And of course, the most important times to wear your mask is when you're speaking, coughing, or sneezing. Ironically, I've seen people remove their mask to cough, which is definitely not the point. So make sure that you tell your employees to be aware of these things. As far as implementation, putting signs up, the state does require employers to either provide or reimburse reasonable expenses for masks because it is something that is necessary for the operation of a business. Now, I do want to mention some rare exceptions to the face mask rule. So there are certain medical conditions, and these are really rare, where they may not be able to use a face mask. If that is the case, you can use alternatives such as a face shield or a mask with a drape. One thing that you guys need to be careful of is there is apparently a fake medical exemption card going around where people claim that it's a card that means they don't need to wear a face mask. If an employee has a medical condition such that they cannot wear a face mask, you need to be asking for a physician's note. And then another possible exception could be if the face mask would contribute to a workplace hazard. So this is mostly in industrial settings. For instance, if you're working with heavy machinery or with chemicals, certain chemicals, it might be a workplace hazard. Linked here is a website from Cal OSHA that kind of talks about some considerations. Again, this is mostly in industrial settings, and it's a rare exception. Most of the time, in most circumstances, employees should be wearing masks.